But what I don't see, what I don't like, what I will not tolerate, what I will push you back on, is you trying to tell me that I need to be like you.
Standing on the top now, no, nothing can move you.
I'm your host, Bobby Bob TV Brown. Before we do anything, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the notification button, and make sure you're subscribed, because they got a habit of unsubscribing you. YouTube is doing it. It's not your fault, but YouTube have unsubscribed a lot of you from the channel. I need you to resubscribe, because I'm going to try not to be so long, but I'm going to be intentional, because we got to talk about D.L. Huhgley. Then we're going to go over some things he recently said about people like me, people like you, especially if you're a black brother or sister that separated from parties, which Malcolm X taught us to do, and who's decided not to affiliate with any parties. To me, party affiliation is just like, it's getting to be like being affiliated with a cult. A lot of these people are dogmatic. They're religious about the Democratic Party. They're religious about the Republican Party. You got red mag over here, you got blue mag over here, and you got people who are telling you to kick people out of their lives, out of your life, if they don't agree with your side of the aisle. And you can never live your life like that. You're going to always have disagreements. You're going to always have a separation on certain issues. You're not going to think alike or believe alike. But at the end of the day, you're still family. You still love one another. You're still friends. At the end of the day, they're not coming to be with you at all. The same people who are telling you to block people, to kick them to the curb and stuff like that, don't know you, don't love you, don't like you, don't trust you, don't even know you, but you're going to take their advice. Now, let's get into this D.L. Huhgley thing. Give me a moment. So we're going to talk about D.L. Huhgley and his quest to make Kamala Harris the next vice president, the next president of the United States. And I can get that. I have no qualm, no issues. You see a candidate that you like, and you literally found some things in that candidate's past, things that you see right now in the present, and things that you believe they'll bring to the future. If you see it, if you believe it, then that's your ticket. But don't do this superficial stuff. Don't do this identity politics stuff. We've been down that road before. You don't do it because they say they black, or because they're black, or because they're a woman, or because they're a black woman, or because they're Christian, or because they're not, because you got a lot of people who claim to be something but really not that. And you want to find this person, you want to believe them, you want to trust them. If that person is walking down the path of your belief on how America should be made, then that's your. If you believe that America should be made after the image of freedom in every area and no restraints, this is America. We should be able to live like we want, do like we want, breathe like we want, do whatever we want, be free. And you found a candidate like that. Of course, I don't fault you for going that way, because that's what you believe in. That's the life that you probably live. That's the life that you probably want for your kids. And you go that way because that's your belief. That may not be my belief. I believe in a little structure. I believe in some rules. I don't believe freedom is free. I think we can be too far into freedom. I shouldn't have the freedom to just come slap you in the head upside the head with no real reason to. I shouldn't have the freedom to just bust in your house and take your car. I shouldn't have no freedom to just beat up on your dog for no reason. Shouldn't have the freedom to just smoke you and go be with your wife. I shouldn't have that freedom. So freedom isn't free, and there still have to be restrictions on freedom. So I can get where people want to go with their belief structure and how they vote and their vision for America. You're gonna be told a vision about this person, and you're going to be told a vision about this person. There's going to be a positive vision about this person, but there's not going to be a positive matchup up here. It's going to always be negative. The right is going to always have you look at Kamala Harris on the negative. Like, for an example, I don't support either party, but Kamala Harris and this Kamala the communist, the socialist, Kamala Harris. Are you freaking kidding me? That lady is corporate as can come. Her biggest donors are corporations. She is not going to be for, and she's just talking that talk about all this social stuff and all this socialism stuff, all this communist stuff that you came up with, people on the right. She's only saying that talk to get to the progressives because that's the stuff they like. She knows she needs to hold on to the progressives and hold on to the hardcore Democrat. Now, progressives, there's no such thing as progressives can go anyway. You got progressive Democrats, you got progressive independents. They just believe in progressive issues. A lot of them subscribe to socialism. A lot of them subscribe to democratic socialism. A lot of subscribe to socialism, and a lot of them subscribe to communism. And that's just the way they believe. So, of course, she's going to try to say whatever she needs to say to keep that camp at bay on her side. It's like Trump. Trump might red bait here and there to try to keep his base. But Trump don't care about the red base either. He's doing what he can to keep them at bay while he try to reach out over here. To me, if he would have picked Tulsi Gabbard, he could have got more independents and got more Democrats. But he's going to start peeling off. He's going to have a better chance of reaching out to independents than Kamala Harris do. Kamala Harris will get the progressives, but not all progressives are Democrats. Even the Democratic progressives she's not get. So where are you going with this? I can see where D.L. Hughgley passion to try to get Kamala Harris into the White House. But what I don't see, what I don't like, what I will not tolerate, what I will push you back on, is you trying to tell me that I need to be like you. There's a scripture in the Bible said the best way to lead somebody to Christ is becoming a living epistle. You beating them upside the head with the Bible and you trying to make them feel guilty and shame and stuff like that. Never do that. The scripture said God does not condemn. Now, his word may convict you, but God don't condemn you. And you got too many people, they're on the side of condemning black women and black men who probably have nothing to do with the Democratic Party, don't want to have nothing to do with that party, have seen some things on the inside of the party that makes them disgusting and detestable to the point that they leave and don't want to have anything to do with the party, like me. And one of my big moments were when I was in the Bernie Sanders campaign and I seen a lot of shady stuff that the DNC was doing against somebody who want to run in that party for president. They had their self-picked person and dang anybody else. And we going to cheat, lie, steal whatever we can to keep that person from getting in office. And not only that, they went as far as people like me who went to Philly for the convention and how they treated the delegates and treat us like trash. What I'm not going to tolerate is you trying to make me feel guilty because I don't think like you. Dude, I'm not you. So D.L. Hughgley, he goes on. Let me see if I got this video up here. He's becoming a Democratic shield to the core. I mean, official shield. I mean, well-noted, well-liked DNC shield. Figurehead for the Democratic Party. They trot out D.L. Hughgley to shield for Kamala Harris. And not only shield for Kamala Harris, we're going to talk about the Central Park 5 soon, but not only shield for Kamala Harris, but to try to use him thinking that he got influence over black men, and he don't. Thinking he got influence over black people like he's a black leader. And Malcolm X have told you plenty of time about these black leaders. The Democratic Party has I guess contracted with so-called black political leaders, and it's been going on since forever, man. They've been using black religious leaders, black entertainers to try to influence the black community. And Malcolm X taught us that we should never, the white community don't do that. They don't trot out the entertainers and stuff like that to influence you.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
You might have them donate to the party, but they're not out here trying to shame other people. You don't see George Clooney trying to shame white people if they're not voting for Kamala Harris. You don't see none of that. I haven't seen one entertainer shame another white person for not supporting a Democrat. Not one. I haven't seen one Indian person try to shame the Indian community, or a Puerto Rican person trying to shame the Puerto Rican community. I've never seen that. Only in the black community I've seen that, where the Democratic Party going to send their shields to try to shape us and whip us into shape, which tells me how much they think of us, that they feel like they got to control us, that we can't leave them, that we can't think about any other choice but them, that we are the black choice, whether you like it or not. And that tends to turn people away, especially when we starting to see the manipulation tactics of the DNC and the Democratic Party and their leaders. The occult-like tactics, because these are occult tactics. If you study occults, you'll see these are some of the things they do when you tend to ask questions, when you tend to have doubts about the leader or the leadership, aka Jim Jones, which Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, and all them people know very much about. And if you think about leaving, how could you? After all I've done for you. That's religious talk. That's cult leader talk. Jim Jones talked like that. A lot of cult leaders talked like that. After all I've done for you, how could you leave us? We were your family. Why are you thinking this way? Who brainwashed you? You brainwashed me, dude. That's who you brainwashed me. Well, D.L. Hughgley goes on his show and talk about the black community and Kamala Harris. And here we go. Let me see.
That was Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac. So Kamala Harris is sailing despite everybody's worries and fears and doubts. Oh, she's not, we don't know, and what's going to happen. She will be the Democratic nominee for president. She's already secured enough delegates to be the nominee.
Now, let me stop there. Nobody was really worried. I don't think true Democrats were worried. They were excited. They was happy because anything was better than Joe. Joe was losing this race by a landslide. Trump was going to win by a landslide because Joe just ain't there no more. His grandpa, who's 80, 90 years old, still trying to drive, and he can't drive no more. His vision is all messed up. He's kind of delusional a little bit, and he's in cognitive decline. And yeah, he had a horrible debate. In the moment, the moment Barack Obama, let's go ahead and be truthful about this stuff. Ain't nobody gonna sugarcoat that. The moment Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and the crew saw that crap show of a debate where Donald Trump didn't have to say much. He just let Joe say what he needed to say, and he would clap back every now and then. It was horrible. And Obama and crew had to do something to save it because the number one priority is to defeat Donald Trump. They can't find somebody who has the ability to defeat Donald Trump. They don't have that. So they got to just find anybody to defeat Donald Trump. And the only person that was next was Kamala Harris. They wasn't going to run a new race, which they should have. Anytime you got a bad start or you restart, everybody need to get back in the race and run. They rigged it against Marianne Williamson, made it hard for her to get any kind of traction. Wasn't going to debate her, wasn't going to give her no money, wasn't going to give her access to the rolls or to the DNC database. Wasn't going to do that. Same thing with RFK, to the point RFK said, screw this, I'm going to run independent, because they kept suing him and doing whatever they can, spending money to block him. They got a habit of doing that. Steny Hoyer will tell you in a minute, look, we're not going to support you. You might could run for office, but you're not going to get no support from the Democratic Party. You on your own, son. That's what he told Andrew Gilliam. They wasn't friends of Andrew Gilliam. They was trying to run Bob's granddaughter, my former governor's daughter. They wanted him to run. They didn't want Andrew Gilliam. Andrew Gilliam had to go to Our Revolution, and which is Bernie Sanders' candidate running organization, and Justice Democrat. They the one put him on. And the moment he started getting some traction and winning because of the platform that they had, platform policies that they all pushed, he began to win the election. And he beat her. And then here come the Democrats coming in, and they come in, infiltrated his campaign and brought him in, Barack Obama and all that, and he get all goo-goo-eyed. And next thing you know, his campaign is starting to slump. When you bring guys like that in your camp, a lot of people that are true progressives, true independents, ain't going to roll with that. They'll roll with you, and they don't even have to be affiliated with your party. They can be true independents, but as long as you pushing those policies, I'm with you. But keep these corporatists out of your campaign or I'm out. And that's what Kamala Harris is struggling to do right now. She got to throw a bone to the progressive people and have some kind of progressive policy, whether that she's going to bring it to pass or not. Throw a bone to the progressives just to make sure that she has a strong chance of beating Trump. Trump has to do the same thing. Now back on D.L. Hughgley.
She has done that before. She even has a vice president that she's chosen yet. I have said before, I used to repeat some of the same things ad nauseum that people are right now. Oh, she locked up a lot of black men. I lived in this state my whole life. I had an occasion to talk to her on several occasions. I accused her on this radio station, on this network, on the same things that people are doing right now. And once I did my research and research isn't finding answers that edify the perspective you have. Research means generally that you want to disprove the thing you believe.
Let's stop there because he's just making up bull crap. Let's see what the definition of research is. Research. According to Oxford, we can go with Webster. Research is the systematic investigation into and study of materials and source in order to establish facts and reach a new conclusion. We're fighting meanings by raising money into medical research. That's just one example of the word research. Also, Webster says, let me pull it up on Webster. Let's see if I can get it on Webster. Research is studious inquiry or examination, an investigation, experimental aid of discovery or interpretation of facts, revision of accepted theories or laws in the light of new facts or practical applications of such new or revised theories or law. The collecting of information about a particular subject or careful or diligent search. That is the word research as a noun. As a noun, research means to search or investigate exhaustively, to do research for. Now, let's bring it back to D.L. Hughgley. Research is just basically studying to see if something is true. It ain't to prove whether you're right or wrong. So what the heck are you talking about? And it's easy to research Kamala Harris's record. They have research organizations that get paid to research. You got Ballotpedia. You got Open Resources. You have a lot of political research organizations that can show you people's voting records. You can go to the database of the city of San Francisco and the city of Oakland, and you can research the conviction rates and how many people got locked up. You can research all that and come to the conclusion. My issue is, D.L. Hughgley, how did you research? Because I recently researched Kamala Harris's family tree, and I did extensive research actually looking at the family tree, actually looking at the memoirs of her father, talking about his life growing up in Jamaica and Brownstown, talking about his great-great-grandfather, a slave owner, Hamilton Brown, talking about the Finnegans that were Scottish people, that he was a part of that family. I did extensive research. How a lot of his family came here came to Jamaica as indentured servants to the Scottish land and to the Scottish landlords to do work in Jamaica. Right now, Jamaica is the number 2 population in Jamaica. You got the blacks, Africans of descent, then you got the Indians, and then you got the Chinese, and then you got normal Scottish, it's still Scottish settlements down there where it's mostly Scottish people. But you don't do your research, they'll go see that, DL. But I did. That's how I know. And I'm not a scholar like you. You're not a scholar. You barely got your GED. And kudos to you. And you got an honorary, we're going to talk about that a little later, honorary endorsement into a college fraternity, and you ain't never been to college. But you want to tout your college fraternity hookup like that's a badge of honor that makes you greater than everybody else, makes you more knowledgeable. Being in a college sorority don't make you more knowledgeable, especially honorary. But let's get back to this research. We do our research, dude. It's a new day and time. It's easy to study people. It's easy to go check out people's records. It's easy to go check out their background. What is he talking about?
That's what researchers, generally, researchers try to disprove what they already believe to be true.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If you believe it's true, which most people don't believe is true until they research. You don't know. It's a theory. And then when you go research, you believe either it's false or it's true. So what are you talking about? And I don't think you ever expounded that or repeated those talking points. I don't ever see the talking points of I never seen the talking points of D.L. Huhgley being anti-Kamala Harris. I never seen that unless when she was running against Joe Biden, because no matter what, he's Democratic all day. So, he was going to be on the side of whoever has the most power in the party. That's just the way it is with D.L. Huhgley. But back to this research. Research is you having a theory about something or you're hearing something and you go to see if it's true. Whether it's positive or negative, you research to see if it's true or not. If that negative is true, if that positive is true, that's how you come up to the conclusion of the research. Like I said, I researched her family tree and now I know. And like I said, I don't care what color she is. My problem is I care when you're trying to cosplay as a black person, when your daddy lineage doesn't mention blackness and your mama lineage doesn't mention blackness, and you at the convention upheld that the reason you're you is because of your mother's side of the family, your mother and your mother's side of your family, not your daddy. But you're asking for the black vote, and we got my people out here thinking you super hot girl, black girl magic, and you're not. When you put on your chucks and pearls and got my people thinking you're a legitimate black, foundational black American, when you're not even black, when you're more Indian than anything. Let's say she had 10% black. We don't supposed to subscribe to white supremacy rules of the 2-drop rule. If majority of you are Indian, that's who you are. Be who you are. We don't care. Long as you got the policies to uplift black people, you can still do something for the black community in order for an exchange for their vote. You still can come up with a black agenda. You still can come up with reparation, and you can still do some great programs for the black community in exchange for the black vote. For you to just assume that you're going to get the black vote is an insult. You got to earn. You ain't assuming that you're getting anybody else's vote. You're earning it. So why you don't think you should do that? Democratic Party, why do you don't think that you should be doing that with us? You have to earn it. And if you don't earn it, you don't deserve it. And if you lose, it's not my fault. People like me, it's not people like Tariq Nasheed. It's the Democratic Party fault because they didn't meet the needs of what the grassroots black people want. Now, anytime somebody tell you I ain't gonna do nothing for black people, no, that's the problem.
And it's not trying to edify your perspective and find things. Kamala Harris did not, in fact, lock up the thousands of people that I said she did. I told that lie, and I have apologized.
Well, who are the 1,000 people you say she locked up? Who are the people you say she locked up? Now, you say you apologize.
To it. Not only have I apologized, I've said to her, not only am I going to keep apologizing because I think it did that much damage, I am going to do what I can do to make sure you become the 47th. At this time, I said to her when I apologized, I'm going to make sure you get elected. I didn't say re-elected. I said elected.
Now, it's great you apologize. You apologize because you got your research wrong. You apologize because you got your... See, you got to watch their words. Their words are kind of crafty. When you mention that you was going around saying that she got locked up thousands of people...
I'm going to make sure you get elected. I didn't want to keep apologizing. I want to keep apologizing. Only have I apologized. I've, in fact, lock up, identify your perspective and find things. Kamala Harris did not, in fact, lock up the thousands of people that I said she did.
Now, let me stop there. Kamala Harris didn't lock up the thousands of people that I said she did. What that got to do with the record, dude? It's what you said she did. I don't know what you said she did. I don't know who you're talking about. So he said that he was wrong for saying that. He got it wrong. How did you figure you got it wrong? What is your evidence of proof? Tell me about the research that you found that proved that she didn't lock up 1,000 people while she was in power. Now, understand this. As a prosecutor, your job is to prosecute criminals. Whether it's on the good end or the negative end, your job is to prosecute that criminal. And not only that, as a district attorney, your job is also to have a team of prosecutors to prosecute criminals. Even as district attorney, you can create a reason or a law to lock up people, which she talked about with the truancy laws, that she had a badge and how she used that badge to intimidate parents about making sure their children in school could stay in school, which she claims she regret. But with the truancy laws, she said, I believe that a child not getting an education is a crime. So you literally made it criminal for somebody who don't get an education. And her form of education means if your child don't show up to public school, it's a crime. So she made it criminal for you not to have your child in the public school. Forget the homeschooling, forget the charter schooling, forget the private. No, if your child is not in a public school, it's a crime. We need to find a way to keep track of your child. And we need to find a way. And there was all reasons why children during that time were not going to school, trying to duck the games. Some children are sick. One girl had sickle cell anemia. She went to the house. She did to arrest the lady, not knowing that. And I'm quite sure she know. I ain't gonna say not knowing. She had to know that the girl had sickle cell, and she wasn't gonna be able to show up all the time. My son had seizures all the time. Sometimes he couldn't be in school. So getting back to D.L. Hughgley, what research have you done, sir? And you saw that it wasn't true. Who said it's not true? Just because you did your research and didn't have good research authorities or good research sources, just because you don't have it, don't mean you are the purveyor of whether it's true or not. I'll repeat that again. Just because you did research and you come to the conclusion that she didn't lock up 1,000 people, my question is, how did you come up with that conclusion? Talk to me. And you had to repent for that, right? That's you. We've done our research. A lot of us done our research. County records, state records. We looked at the records of the prison system during that time under her watch. We understood police procedures and tactics on the things they did to lock people up, to get people locked up by the droves. We understood that there was contracts that she had done with the private prison systems that she needed to fulfill, and overextending those jails. Sometimes those jails got so overran that the people with smaller offenses had to be taken out of that jail and put to another jail. Where are your researchers coming from, D.L. Hughgley? And why are you sitting here trying to pretend that we're you and that, hey, I got it wrong, so you guys must be getting it wrong. I apologize, so you guys need to apologize. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get her elected president, so you guys should do the same thing because I was wrong, therefore you're wrong too. And that is not it, dude. Just because you believe you're wrong don't mean I and many others are wrong on this situation. You just didn't know how to do your research. And I get it. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I graduated, got a few college credits. You got a GED. We're not the smartest person in the world, but nowadays it's easy to research. 20 years ago, it wasn't, because we didn't have the internet and we didn't have access to court databases. And we didn't have access to city lockup files. We didn't have access to those things. Those things are public records now, and you can do proper research. My question is, what research have you done, son? Or are you just sitting here simping for Kamala Harris?
I told that lie, and I have apologized to it. Not only have I...
You told a lie. Her locking up thousands of people is not a lie. You doing your research and make an assumption based on the research, and you come to the conclusion that she didn't because you probably did a half research or whatever, that makes you a liar. But you're not going to sit here and try to make all of us look like we lying and that we did you're not, let me say it this way. You're not going to sit here and try to play professor and tell us I did the same research you did. You don't know the research we did. And I've come to the conclusion that I was wrong. That's because your research was faulty and it gave you wrong conclusion. And as being wrong, I told her I apologized multiple times. I'm going to help her get elected. So if I was wrong, you were wrong. You need to do what I do. Fool, if you don't go take yourself somewhere. Let me tell you an example of some of the things that the Joe Biden crime bill allowed here in the United States. And a lot of Democrats endorsed that, well-known Republicans. In that crime bill, there were so many things that, so much funding going to the states, so much funding going to private prison systems through the states, so many different police tactics that would help them fulfill those agendas between the crime bill, the private prison system, and the drug war. They used to do these things called sweep. A police sweep is when the police take a perimeter and they go check perimeter area, they lock it down, and anybody in that perimeter perimeter would get searched. They would get thrown down. A lot of them will get kicked on, get beat on, thrown on the car, and searched. And if you didn't have no drugs, don't mean you're going to get off. If somebody there got some drugs on them, you'll be accomplice. You will be tagged to that person's crime. You will all go to jail if that one person had drugs. Now, that one person probably didn't distribute it. That one person probably bought a bag of weed, and at that time, weed was illegal. They didn't have to be crack cocaine. Remember, Joe Biden said, you can get 5 years just for a little bit of crack.
230 new penalties. And these penalties range from an automatic 5 years in jail for any person caught with a rock of crack cocaine, a piece of crack cocaine as small as a quarter. I don't have a quarter with me, but if you visualize what one looks like, yeah, I do have a quarter. If you have a piece of crack cocaine no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, 1/4 of $1, we passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice.
So guess what? If you hung around somebody with a little bit of crack, they got 5 years, you would get 5 years too, because you were associated with that guy. Not only did you get arrested for distribution, you got arrested for the use of, you got arrested for the sale of, you got arrested for the paraphernalia it was in. They will stack the charges on you and charge you for multiple crimes. And if you happen to be in that perimeter during that day and that time, you got charged with those same crimes too, and you didn't even have the drug. And you wonder why the prison system got locked up and why it was easy to get 1,000 people locked up. Now, a lot of people said, well, she didn't put 1,000 people in penitentiary. There's a difference between county lockup and penitentiary. Let's take out the penitentiary and say she didn't lock up 1,000 people in penitentiary. There were more than 1,000 people locked up in those county jails. And she was responsible for locking them up as a district attorney. And when she became attorney general, she was responsible for the entire state. Heck, some of the things that she did impressed Governor Schwarzenegger. And some of those programs Governor Schwarzenegger wanted to implement throughout the entire state. Some of the Kamala Harris programs, like the truancy law. But you didn't do your research, did you, D.O.? You didn't do your research properly. You did faulty research, and you come to the conclusion that you wanted to come to. He said that, and that's the reason why he's saying this. He just told us research is not coming to the conclusion that whatever he said, some kind of false philosophy. The bottom line is, you research properly, you can find out this information. If you understand the drug game and crime game and the crime wave and all that kind of stuff that was going on in Southern California and Central California and Oakland and San Francisco, you would know how the police got down. Heck, they were doing that all over the country.
I apologize. I've said to her, not only am I going to keep apologizing because I think it did that much damage, I am going to do what I can do to make sure you become the 47th.
If it did damage, dude, it's not your fault. Now, you, assuming that she committed a crime, assuming that she locked up a lot of people, and you did some research that somebody else probably gave you that said that she didn't lock up everybody, and you come to that conclusion, I get it. But that don't mean what you come to find is not the actuality of what happened.
Time I said to her when I apologized, I'm going to make sure you get elected. I didn't say re-elected. I said elected. And now here it is.
Now, let's stop here. I know it's going to be long. Why would you tell a presidential candidate that you're going to make her sure she get elected all because you prejudged her? All because you didn't get the facts straight. You. I'm keeping it on you. They ain't us. Why would you tell her that? Why would you say, I'm going to do whatever I can to get you elected when she didn't even offer nothing for your community? This is the part that really gets me about people just freely giving away their votes. Steve Harvey, we're going to talk about this soon, said the black vote is not for sale. No, it's a high commodity, dude. Your vote should be a jewel, rare jewel to you. You should not just give it away. The Asians don't give it away. The Puerto Ricans don't, the Latino people don't give it away. The Arabs don't give it away. The Hindus don't. Most communities don't give away a free vote. They bargain. They have meetings. You meet with community leaders and you talk from the community. Whatever the needs of the community is, they put it on the table and say, hey, if you want our community vote, this is what we need in exchange. And they make promises. And a lot of times they can capitalize on those promises. These fools ain't offering nothing. You're playing right in the program of just giving these people a free vote. You're doing whatever. You're actually participating in hurting the black community and helping. Just freely getting her elected ain't going to help black people be empowered. It may help a few people like you be empowered because you end up doing the same stump speech at the convention. You have arrived. You spoke at the national convention. You made history as a comedian on the stage endorsing Kamala Harris. Not understanding that every endorsement of Kamala Harris without a demand, without an exchange, don't help the community. It hurts. And you are hurting the black community, dude.
That opportunity, to me, that is divine. That is something that's supposed to have happened. If you are the people right now who are misquoting.
See, he's going to bring it to us. He's going to say, hey, I made a mistake. Ooh, you probably didn't. You probably did lazy research and you come to the conclusion. You probably did lazy research and you came up to the conclusion that you wanted to come up with, that she was okay. Why? Because you had no other choice but Donald Trump, according to you. You're not looking at RFK. You're not looking at Cornel West. You're not looking at Claudia. You're not looking at Jill Stein. You're only looking at Donald Trump. You believe that that's the only two choices when there's not. That's the only two choice that's empowered by rigging, that has the most chance of winning because of rigging the voting system and the debate system. So what these do, and a lot of them do this, they talk about how they was wrong, and they're going to try to they're going to deflect or they're going to inject their wrongness on you. And telling you if you did like I did, then you need to do like I did. No, dude. Nah, bruh. No, bruh. It don't work like that. Who the hell are you to try to put this on us because you didn't do proper research? And who the hell are you to try to make us feel guilty for nothing and try to tell us we need to do what you do, support Kamala Harris? We ain't giving away no free votes, dude. We're not slut voters over here. You're a slut voter. You giving up the nappy dugout, the poom poom, the kitty cat. You vote. You're giving it up for free. I have more respect for a sex worker that has a value on her skills than someone who don't. Now, if you just can't resist the brother, and we get in, but there's some women out here just too loose. They don't have a value on themselves, and that does nothing for them. But if you saying I'm worth $500 to $1,000 and gonna get out with me, they got a value system. They're getting something in exchange. We're not gonna be slut voters. I'd rather be a prostitute voter than a slut voter. You gonna pay for this. A woman of honor usually make that man earn everything she has. Her loyalty, her love, and even her body. She usually make him earn it. She might tease it with him one or two times, put it on him, make him say, girl, that was good. And then she'll pull back. Baby, I get, no. Now you got a little taste. You want the rest? You're going to have to earn it. The Democrats don't even give us that. And the Republicans, we know we ain't getting none of that with their uppity behind. We ain't getting none of that at all. We even want none of that. And the Democrats is getting to that point. We've been riding with you and giving our votes for all these years, and you're not giving us anything in exchange. Like I said in the last video, if you neglect your wife for so long, sooner or later they're going to leave you. She might not leave you right away, but she'll leave you in spirit and body. She'll find somebody, get with that person, and she'll cheat on you. She'll have sex with them and everything before she just finally tell you it's over with. Why? Because you neglected her. Well, let me get back to D.L. Huhgley and his bullcrap.
Her record, we are not the same. If you believe that her locking people up from weed is worse than a man who says he wants to give dope dealers the death penalty, we are not the same. If you want me to...
And it's not just a lockup for weed, dude. I guess you wasn't in that position because of who you are. These guys got locked up for other people's weed. And they had to stay in prison for a long time. And they had to wait for a court hearing. And sometimes it had to be a long time because you had a lot of people in prisons. The county jails was locked up to the capacity to the point where they had to send them to other jail systems. Some of them end up going to prisons because there was no room in the county lockup. It's Kamala Harris. Don't sit there and blow this stuff off because they had some weed. No, it was weed. They got locked up for weed. They ended up in jail for a long time. They had to work while they was in there for almost nothing, waiting on the court date. And when it was time for them to be released, she was finding reasons to keep them there. And it's not just one person. It was multiple persons who were going to jail for somebody else's drugs. And it's not just weed. It was alcohol. It was crack cocaine. It was anything else. That policy of Trump's in detail don't say I'm going to lock up every drug dealer and kill him. He can't do that. That's against the law. But if you're a drug dealer and you dealt drugs and then killed somebody, that's murder. So yeah, you got a right to bring the death penalty. And I'm not for the death penalty. Never going to be for the death penalty. And if Trump is really pro-life, he wouldn't be for the death penalty either.
Under the leadership of Senator Thurmond, and I'd like to suggest that I take some small credit for it myself as well, and others, the presiding officer, that there is now a death penalty. And we passed it a couple years ago. If you are a major drug dealer involved in the trafficking of drugs and murder results in your activities, you go to death.
But we got a lot of gangs coming into this country that's murdering people for just for ritualistic purposes. Some people believe that we murder somebody before it'll keep us from getting caught in a drug deal. Those are things that happens. Don't try to neglect the same thing. You saying what he's saying is bad, but this ain't bad either? Both of them bad to me.
Remember her past, but not Trump's past? We not the same. If you want to remind me of her record, but don't want to talk about Project 2025.
All right, since you're going there. We can remind you of her record. There's nothing wrong with that. And I could talk about Project 2025 too. See, what you're trying to do and what some of you idiots oftentimes think is that just because we're vehemently against your policies and the person running in office because of their past and the present, that we're against them, that we automatically for the other guy. Project 2025 is trash, but that's not Trump's plan. Trump plans is Agenda 47. It's not Project 25. Y'all trying to tag that because of the horrible policies of the Heritage Foundation. That's a Heritage Foundation, and they hand that project to both Democratic and Republicans. So for you to say that's what Trump going to have, you got to say that's what Kamala Harris going to have, because they handed it to both. It's a conservative policy that they believe that even some Democrats can go with. I don't know why they think that, but they always do that. Every 4 years, they come up with some bull crap plan, hoping that 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas out of the entire agenda get picked up by any administration. That's all. Yep. It's a Republican-leaning organization, but that's not Trump's plan. Trump plan Agenda 47. But you guys want to talk about that? You guys are sitting there and post something up and say Agenda 47. No black man should have nothing to do with Agenda 47. And what I've come to the conclusion, you're just saying that because you don't want no black man to look at Agenda 47, because there may be some things in there I agree with. Because there are definitely some things I agree with. And I challenge anybody to go look at Agenda 47 and tell me they don't agree with 1, 2, if not 3 things. I'm not saying everything. There's a few things I don't agree with it in Agenda 47, but there's a lot of things that I do agree with and I do support. Don't mean I'm supporting Trump, but I do agree with that agenda. I dare you, DL, Huhgley, anybody, to go look at Agenda 47 and tell me that you don't support at least 1 or 2 things in there. But you won't do it because your hatred for Trump, literal hatred, got you blinded. That what you call control opposition, and what they call manufacturing dissent has gotten you to the point where you hate this guy so much that throughout the whole Democratic National Convention, all you talked about was him and not your vision for America. And likewise with Trump. Trump need to stop. Get out of y'all need to be talking about y'all vision for America and what you're going to do based on policies, and go over your platform with the community.
Have you ever noticed the same black people that want to tell you she sold all these weed and locked all these people up, tell you they don't believe that 2025 is Trump's plan for a second term? Where's your proof that it is his plan?
Because if you go to the Trump website, and I've been to Trump website and Kamala Harris website, Trump agenda for his future is there. Trump is not, well, this is one thing I could tell people over and over again. When have you ever learned of Trump taking somebody else's idea and implementing it? It could be a good idea. Trump ain't going to do it because it's not his. Trump got his own agenda. It's on that doggone website. Project 2025 is not on his website. Yes, a lot of people who didn't have jobs that left the Trump administration once he got kicked out of office, they did go work for the Heritage Foundation. Nothing wrong with that. They got some diabolical, some draconian ideas. But they also have them on the left too. Draconian ideas. Environmental ideas, draconian. Economic ideas, draconian. Like, you can't do that and have a stable country. You basically saying the government gonna run everything. You don't want the government to run everything. You doggone right we're saying that.
The reason for that. It passed, but not Trump's passed. We're not the same. If you want to remind me of...
Hey, I talk about Trump pass. We all talk about Trump pass. I'm going to get on Trump about the Central Park 5 thing. He should have nipped that thing in the bud a long time ago. He should have repented, say I was wrong, and give your excuses because, spoiler, Ed Koch was looking for a quick arrest. And once they got them boys, had to, because the lady was violently raped, brutally raped, and they had suspect, and the idea for the suspect came quick. And like NYPD used to do, they probably still do it, they go for the closest person they can find to that and grab them and have them try to rush this case. And they rushed this case. And Donald Trump and his prejudice got to look at the case and the people involved with the case and strictly say, hey, if this lady die, these boys should die. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. I talk about Trump pass. I talk about his pass too, when all of y'all was sucking up to kissing his behind, and the moment he put his mouth on Obama, the black God, the black Messiah, you guys got upset, and rightfully so. He was wrong for that. But yet, at the same time, Oprah, all of them guys was friends with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, you can even have Jesse Jackson campaign. If it wasn't for the finances with Donald Trump that kicked off that campaign, you wouldn't have the doggone Al Sharpton campaign. He said that, man, if I run for office, I would love to make Oprah Winfrey my vice president. But the moment he talked about Obama, all of a sudden, he's Darth Vader. And look, after a lot of accusations on me, if I didn't know how to control myself, I was like, oh, you want a Darth Vader? I'll give you a Darth Vader. If you want to accuse me of all this stuff, fine, accuse me. I'll give you a reason to accuse me, but I'm not like that. Project 2025 does exist. I downloaded the whole plan, went over the whole plan, and one day I'm going to go over this. A lot of stuff, a couple things I can get in Project 2025, especially faith-based stuff. I'm okay with that. Some of the stuff is draconian, and I wouldn't want to have nothing to do with that. Yet Trump says the same thing. Man, I ain't got nothing to do with no Project 2025, but you're going to try to tag that to me anyway. What else I supposed to do? All I can say is my policy is on my website, no matter what you say. But the Democratic Party, just like the Republican Party, they're going to find any kind of boogeyman to scare you away from voting for that person. And the Democrat found this Project 2025 is a great tool to try to scare the crap out of people. They can't keep people based on policies. All they got is identity politics and hope and change, no substance behind it, and it's fear tactics. You can't even protest Kamala Harris at an event in support of the Ghazian people. You can't protest, which is your right to protest. You can't voice your concern for the people being murdered without her saying, so what, you want Donald Trump?
Project 2025, if he is elected, I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
I'm speaking now. I'm speaking now. So, you know, you must want Donald Trump. Or if I say I want a black agenda, and if you don't support that, I'm not voting for you. So you're supporting Donald Trump. Always Trump, 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 Trump. You guys are so fascinated about Trump that you feel like there's nothing else in the world that other people can think about other than that fool. That's what you call Trump derangement syndrome. If you ain't for us, you must be for Trump. Who the hell told you that lie? I don't like you or Trump. Guess what? Both of y'all need to get out of my face. Get the heck away from me. I'm not voting for you. I'm not getting none of y'all my energy or my support. But the reason why a lot of people like me go hard on the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party has been using us for so long and have not given us no major return. We keep investing in them and keep investing in them, and we have to start getting real. You got to start tightening up on them. We got to start reining them in. We got to start calling them to the carpet. We got to start putting some heat to their behind instead of just talking about, well, we'll do it after they get election. That time stops. We've been doing that for decades. We'll put the feet to the fire when we get them in office. No, we're not. We're not doing that. Your best way to really put a hurt into them is saying, hey, I'm leaving. It's over. I pack my bags and I'm leaving. Either they're going to continue, either they're going to let you leave, or they're going to say, baby, don't leave me. Don't leave me. But at the end of the day, you got to show yourself, you're not loyal to me. Don't expect me to be loyal to you. It don't work that way. You're neglecting me. I put in all these years in support of you. Nobody supports you like we do. Now you keep giving me these horrible relationships. Now you want me to be with a woman who fulfilled Joe Biden's prophecy of the crime bill to the T. And you want me to ignore that. And I can't ignore that, because if you prosecute on the lower level, mid-level, you're going to start prosecuting on a higher level. And I didn't appreciate it when it was on the lower level. So what make you think I'm appreciating it on a higher level? Let's get back to DL.
Her record, but don't want to talk about Project 2025. Have you ever noticed the same black people that want to tell you she sold all this weed and locked all these people up, tell you they don't believe that 2025 is...
She sold weed?
Is Trump's plan for a second...
You have no evidence that's Trump plan, dude. Stop running your mouth about something you got no evidence. Where's your evidence that this is part of Trump plan? You don't see it nowhere on his agenda. You don't see it nowhere on his website. But Agenda 47 is there. Go look at it.
For a second term? There is a reason for that. If you're telling me you're not going to vote for her because she has a white husband, then we're not the same.
Who said they're not going to vote for her because she has a white husband? Now, I do question that she gonna, when it come to standing up for black rights, if there come to a point where her husband may not agree with what we believe, she going to have to make a choice. And her choice is going to be with her husband. It's not going to be with black people. Everybody has a capability, if the pressure is put on them, to show their ugly colored side. And that can happen with Doug too. Y'all over here fighting for her, fight more than Doug. But nobody's saying that. Nobody care about who she married. You know, let me not say that. It seemed like most of the people in power, thank God we had, thank God Barack Obama did have a foundational black American wife. And Black Kamala, despite of his lack of track record for supporting the black community, the imagery of the Obamas were beautiful. Beautiful black husband and wife with beautiful kids, black dog, Bo, and the image was beautiful and still beautiful to this day. And if you wasn't drinking, if you drunk enough of the Democratic Kool-Aid, you will see no fault. But if you're a person that diligently look at policies, records, and things you done while you was in office, things you done before you got on, person like that see that, hey, you dude is smooth, but he wasn't nothing. He was, and I got people I love that just adore him, and I just let him do it, man. I don't challenge it on that, but Obama was just a slickster, smooth. Look at her. I'm gonna do everything for her. I'm the one made America great. I made it great for the LGBTQ. I made it great for the Latinos. Even though I have the highest exportation, send them back home. But I made you believe. And I did do some drone strikes, and I dropped so many bombs that I don't have any more left. And I did kill a lot of innocent people. But it's okay. and people sued us for 9/11, and the Arabs government was willing to, Saudi Arabia was willing to pay the victims, but I blocked it. I vetoed it. No, don't even get me on Fast and Furious. Well, nope, don't get me on that. Stuff he did that people don't talk about. Obama didn't have no scandals, no sexual scandals. Man loved his wife. Love this wife. That's one of my positives about. Love this kids. Trayvon Martin was my. If I had a black son, it'll look like Trayvon Martin. But yeah, but you and Eric Holder didn't do nothing. You didn't come up with not one. The whole 8 years, you did not come up with one hate crime bill for black people. And black people were in charge. But yet you got Joe Biden, Kamala Harris in 30 days after one incident that didn't involve a high level of murders. They got in 90 days, from what I was told, 3 days, a hate crime bill. We get a bunch of people killed in Buffalo. That same tag team couldn't get us a hate crime bill after the murders in Buffalo, which were a majority of blacks. This is not cool, people. This is not cool at all. This is serious business. And no, I don't like the Trump organization. I don't support Trump. But I'm not going to sit here and lend my support and give my support to you and you doing stuff like that. He did nothing like that to us. And let's be honest. He have done nothing like that. Not saying he can't, not saying he's not capable, not saying eventually he won't do that. But too many things have happened under the watch of the Democratic Party and nothing get done for black people. And we're sick and tired of it. Getting downright pissed off. Orlando Castile, I can go on and on and on. Think about it. Not one hate crime bill. The massacre with Dylan Roof, not one hate crime bill. What's it going to take 1 million of us to be murdered by white supremacists in order us to get a hate crime bill when it didn't take that much for Asians to get it? Well, but I forgot. The VP is Asian. Kamala Harris is Asian. Indians are Asians. So when D.L. Huhgley talked this trash like he's talking now, it just blows by me. Like, fool, who the hell are you to talk? Do you actually know what's going on here on the street levels? Then if you do, and it really hurts you to the core, you wouldn't freely support. You was like, look, I don't mind supporting you. I would go out there and advocate for you. Madam Vice President, you running for office. I need you to promise me that you're going to do certain things for the black community. You know what the black agenda is because you mock it. You know I call for reparations because you mock it. You know we need a hate crime bill, but you're not saying it. You're not advocating for it. You probably say, let's advocate it for it after she get elected. No, let's put our feet to the fire and say, hey, if you really want to get elected by a landslide, let's get this done now. You're still in office. Joe Biden is still president. Y'all can do it for them. You can do it for us. You ain't getting our support until you do. Instead of, I'm going to do whatever I can to get you elected. And you sitting up here defending her. And it ain't about her. It's about the community. We're putting people in office based on what they're going to do for the community. I can care less about her and who's for her. Is she for us? And if she is, prove it.
But if you're going to say she has a white husband, you better have a black wife when you say it. Don't tell me that somebody's Latin or Asian.
Some of these people's arguments, rebuttal, ignorant stuff. Here I am. I'm talking about the things that are going on in the black community and how we got to really, really kind of pretty much threaten to leave them if they don't fix it. And he talking about this superficial stuff.
I think that shouldn't be the predicate anyway. But if you are accusing her marital choices, you better make sure yours are in line with the accusations you make. We are not the same if these are, well, she ain't black enough. I tell you.
Yo, Negro, we ain't not the same. You've been in Hollywood so much. You come from, used to live in Virginia, Portsmouth. You know, your parents were, your dad was an air flight mechanic. You moved around. You end up in California. You lived in California. Of course, your story is you got involved with gangs and stuff like that, and you end up dropping out of school, blah, blah, blah. And but you need to put your ear back in tune with the streets and understand what's really going on in here. The reason we bring up these issues is because we're trying to find out why. It got to be a reason why you guys are not advocating hard for the community and the things that the community need. The community have told you what they need. Told you. Giving you the black agenda. You know it. We asked you to campaign on it. We asked you to put it in the forefront. You're campaigning on blackity black, black sister black, Howard University sorority, whatever. You're campaigning on that. Then if you're going to campaign on that and want us to vote for you on that, then you need to put these issues in the forefront. And I don't hear you putting any issues on the forefront. That $25,000 home loan is a loan. That's not more important than a hate crime bill. Economic justice for foundational Black Americans, knowing that everybody in this country is starting to outnumber us, giving us kind of drowning our voices and our power out. Everybody getting businesses but us. Everybody getting housing but us. Everybody getting a system but us. And we're sick and tired of this. And we're saying, look, you better do something about it. You're literally in power overlooking us. And you think we're going to let that happen, keep happening? Hell no. Hell no. Do something about it, and do something about it now, or miss me with the vote. D.L. Huhgley, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. These issues are trivial, funny. We can go there on some issues because marriage is a commitment, and we realize that you're going to commit to your husband above your community because you're supposed to, spiritually speaking. Your husband and wife is a part of you. You're one flesh. So to neglect that person, neglect you. So, of course, we bring these issues up, and we strongly believe that if it came down to it, you're going to pick your husband or pick your wife over your community. But that's just the way it is because you married that person. You're supposed to. So that is an issue sometimes. But all this other stuff is not it, D.L. Huhgley. You're advocating, pushing to support somebody who have not told us how she's going to support the Black community. You want to be the purveyor of slut voting, and you want us to give it all up to her too. And we're saying, no, sir, no, we're valuable. We may have been blind to our self-worth, but we're valuable. You call it self-hate. We call it self-love. We love our community, and we're demanding some commitments to it now, not later, but now.
She's a Black woman. She went to Oakland. She's from Oakland. She went to an HBCU. She's an AKA. She had a boyfriend named Willie.
Do I need to go there? Do I need to go there? She's a Black woman. Where? Who told you that? She told you that? She told you that. I can go over a story of a young man. He was an Indian man who wanted to get into college under a special program. And if I can find it, I'll pull it up here.
When it comes to college admissions, how much of a role should race play? That question back in the news this week. For the first time in Harvard University's history, the majority of students accepted into the incoming freshman class identify as non-white, 50.8% to be precise. But at the same time came news that the Department of Justice is investigating allegations the school is denying places to qualified Asian American students. VJ Jojo Chokolingam, now the head of admissions consultant at Interview SOS, has a unique experience with this topic. An Indian American, he realized the only way that he would be accepted at med school would be to pass as Black. He chronicled his experiences in his book, Almost Black, the true story of how I got into medical school by pretending to be Black. VJ Chokolingam joins me now. So you were studying statistics at the University of Chicago, and you say to yourself, I don't stand a chance with my 3.1. What did you do?
Well, I shaved my head, I trimmed my eyelashes, and I decided to join the organization of Black students so I could apply to medical school as a Black man. I also used my middle name, Jojo. I subsequently interviewed at medical schools across the country and managed to get waitlisted at Washington University and the University of Pennsylvania, then ranked the second and the third and fourth best medical schools in the country, and got into St. Louis University School of Medicine, despite the fact that my pretty pitiful 3.1 GPA was dramatically lower than their average of 3.7. Now, I wanted to mention a statistic you mentioned earlier in the program, which is that the majority of Harvard is now a minority. And I don't think that's true. I think that's very deceptive because I think you're forgetting about the Pocahontas factor. And that is that there's a large number of people who are whiter than winter in Alaska who pose as minorities based on flimsy reasons. And as a result, it skews the statistics because they know that it can improve their chances of admission. So self-reporting of statistics that are minority, I don't think that's necessarily the best data to use.
So, VJ, what you're saying is that you didn't just check a box. You went full-on Tootsie, and there are others out there who may not adopt the personification of a particular group. But they're checking the same box in the same way.
I'm an independent admissions consultant. And I have so many clients who, they have an African-American great-great-grandfather, their great-great-grandmother was Hispanic or something like that. And for very flimsy reasons, they call themselves minority because they know it's going to improve their chances of admissions.
He disguised himself as a black man, went to college and everything as a black man, almost made it until he got found out. He was an Indian pretending to be black to get a particular position. Rachel Dolezal.
Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
This man right here is your father, right there?
You have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
That's I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of. I did tell you that yes, that's my dad, and he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents? Are they white?
White as snow, pretending to be black, end up taking a high position with the NAACP. Not black at all. She could have been white. It's the NAACP. White people are a color. They can't discriminate against white people in the NAACP. White people have to be accepted. It was Jewish and black people that started it. That's why some chapters don't do nothing for black communities. Some of them do. So it's possible for a Asian woman to pretend to be black, to get in school. They even go as far as getting the sororities. Let me show you something real quick. I'll come back to DL at 2:39. Okay. All right, so let me show you white people in the black sorority. Give me a moment.
At SC State has taken charge in her hometown of Milford, Michigan, starting protests and conversations about Black Lives Matter. It's talk her hometown hasn't had before. Our Matt Dow caught up with her about what she learned in SC and took up north.
Don't shoot!
In other words, this is a white woman, white as snow, pretty lady, going to HBCU. She's in a fraternity. She could have a black boyfriend named Willie. By the way, that's not a shine, D.L. Huhgley, talking about a black boyfriend. Willie Brown was married at that time, separated. His wife was hoping that they get back together. She had a hope out there, but then Kamala came, and her hopes started to dwindle. Kamala came in to make sure that Willie Brown was all hers. Willie Brown gave her all kind of free positions. He gave her all kind of jobs. He used his power and influence to give her a job in the medical field, dealing with medical supplies. She ended up getting awards and everything in that particular area. I mean, she was making big money, $70,000 a year starting off, or $7,000 a month, something like that. She was making a lot of money. Willie put her on I think he put her on one of the tickets, running as district attorney. She ended up being a prosecutor after she left the medical field. She ended up becoming a prosecutor thanks to Willie Brown influence. She ended up being a district attorney thanks to Willie Brown influence. And then she ended up being the attorney general thanks to Willie Brown influence, which she got it on her own. She went to college. She went to Howard University. She graduated from Hastings Law School. She was she held a high position on one of the programs there at Hastings. She got out, went to work, Willie Brown, and the rest is history. It took Willie Brown influence to get her up the ladder. She got up there quick, but thanks to Willie Brown, it wasn't on her own, and you got to admit it. So for you to mention Willie Brown is no star shine for her. It's a black mark because she was messing with another woman's man. She was hoping and praying and trying her best to get back with Willie, and she was in the way. Since you brought it up. I didn't bring it up, DL. You brought it up. I didn't brought out how she climbed up the ladder. You brought it up. But let's go back to this white girl in black sorority.
Don't shoot!
Megan Swarchek is a rising senior at SC State. She's one of the few white students on campus, plays for the school's soccer team, and is a member of a black sorority, Delta Sigma Theta.
She goes to a HBCU. She probably got a boyfriend named Willie too. Does that make her black?
Percent white, she knew she couldn't stay silent.
People are making this about choosing sides, and it's not. This isn't about bringing politics in. You know what I mean? This isn't a Democrat thing. You know, this is everybody versus racism.
Swarchek teamed up with Power Detroit, an activist organization, to spread the topic of racial injustice and police brutality. And she made it clear in our interview that she didn't want this story to be about a white girl that saves the day, She wants this story and these protests to be about amplifying black voices.
White girl, white as snow, look like the girl from Undercover Brother. Went to HBCU and she's a Delta. Does that make her black? So let's get back to Dio. Let's be historically correct, Dio. She lived in Oakland for a hot minute. Family got a divorce. Well, the family didn't get a divorce right away. Both of them got jobs, and they end up moving to Chicago. And then the mother got a job in her field, and the daddy got a job in their field. And I guess the job got in the way, whatever, but they end up getting divorced. She ended up coming back to Oakland for a little bit, and then she ended up moving to Canada. So she wasn't born and raised. She was born in Oakland, but she was not raised in Oakland. And if I'm not mistaken, I think her birth certificate says she was born in San Francisco. That's the other side, on the other side. But nevertheless, she lived most of her school years in Canada, growing up in a predominantly Indian neighborhood. She didn't grow up in no doggone black neighborhood in Canada. Now, the neighborhood in Oakland that she came to visit, that her mom and dad lived in, were pretty much a minority neighborhood, and they had minority neighbors. So I can understand some of the black influences there. But she predominantly grew up as an Indian girl. She talks about that, talks about her mom instilling Indian heritage in her. Her mom can't instill no black heritage in her. That's her dad's job if he's black. Her grandfather was a dignitarian in India, so he went and instilled more there. The family in India, that's still there. She didn't spend much time with the family in Jamaica. A few times she came down to visit, but where are these black Jamaican cousins? You do have a few that's dark skinned with hair, but they're more like, I wouldn't say they're coolies, but they look like dark skinned Indians.
We're really excited, and we know Joe Biden's going to be very happy with her. Jamaicans are hardworking people, especially when we go abroad, and we have to rep Jamaica. We work harder abroad than we do when we're here. And I know that's the kind of tradition that her parents put into her. And I know she's going to work very hard if she reaches the White House, and we'll hope she reaches.
So we can go into that, but I'm not going to go into that because it had nothing to do with her qualifications for president and her meeting the needs of black people, which she said that I'm not just going to do nothing for black people.
And she got a name, first name is hard for everybody to pronounce. It sounds different than it's spelled. That's black enough for me.
That name is an Indian name, dummy. It means lotus flower. That is not an African name. Just because there's a wrestler named the Great Kamala don't mean that her name is African and it's hard to spell. It really gets me how we are fighting so hard for a person to be black. We shouldn't have to fight for a person to be black. You guys are defending and fighting hard for her blackness more than she is. She's not going that hard. I think the DNC probably let them say, hey, if they can pull this off, if these people can think you black, and if we can fool these people, our spokesperson to believe that you're black and tell other people that you're black, and as long as we can get that black vote, shut it up, girl. Don't you say a doggone thing about who you are. You're talking about India too much right now. Cut that stuff off. When you ran for California district attorney, U.S. senator, you could talk about that because there's a lot of Indians there. But nah, our power to get over in the election comes from the black vote. So if you got to be sister girl magic, bop your head, do black talk or whatever, do it. Still at the end of the day, DL, she's majority of Indian. She got some Scotch Irish in her. I don't think she got a lick of black. I looked at her record. I listened to her father's memoirs. None of it in there. Scotch Irish, Indian is the majority in this story. But you are fighting to make her black. She's not fighting to make her black. Stop it with this stuff, man. Let her be her. She can be an Indian woman and be proud of it and still run for president and still advocate for the needs of the black community. Why? Because we are the one that's going to put her in power. Yes, everybody's going to get a chance to vote, but us voting in high numbers always give them the edge, always give them the seat, always give them the power. So instead of just giving it to us, we're saying we want something in exchange for it. Don't tell me about Trump bad, Trump orange, Trump authoritarian, Trump Hitler and all. Now, you're trying to scare me off my focus. Don't tell me about no 2025. Don't even tell me about Agenda 45. Tell me what you gonna do. Tell me your policies to make America great. Tell me your policy to make black America great. I don't give a crap about his. He ain't got none, but he can get some too. And if he can convince us he can make America great for black people and do stuff for black people, actually do it, he can get my ear. Right now, you're not giving me nothing in my ear. All I hear is stuff about you, not us.
But what I do know for sure is that she can win if we decide it is so. And if that is not your goal, we are not the same. Your we and my we are not the same.
Well, guess what, D.L. Hughgley? We are not the same. Your goal is to slut vote somebody into the office. Tell every black person, just give your vote to her. Don't be demanding nothing. We ain't got time. Trump, horrible, evil, boogeyman, orange man. And you get mad at us because we ain't gonna fall for that crap. I mean, that stuff may be true, but we don't care right now. All we care about is something on our 40, homie. We need you to push our black agenda. We need you to support it. We need you to implement it. And some of the things we need right now is we need you to advocate for a hate crime bill for black people. Now. You can do it now. If you can manage to pull it off before you get elected, you might get our vote. But you better add in there the black agenda. You better add in there reparations for foundational black America. And you better not ever say out of your mouth again, I'm not just going to do something for black people. No, when you've done something for the Asians, Latinos, and a whole list of more people. Don't you ever say that. And for you, D.L. Hughgley, I want to tell you to go somewhere, but I can't because you're my bright black brother. And I mean, you're a shield. You're a butt kisser. Because all I hear you doing is kissing butt. That's all I hear. I hear Stone Cold Steve Austin right now.
If you think this is the ass kissing some you ever saw, give me a hell yeah. What?
That's all I see. You kissing Kamala Harris behind. Ain't no kissing behind here. This is strictly business, EPMD. We got some things we need to talk about. And right now, your policies are trash. You barely have some policy. At least this guy got a policies. And some of them, I can get with it. And truthfully speaking, if you didn't have that hate in your face, you can look at that Project 47 and you know there's a few things in there you can get with. But if Kamala Harris was offering it, you would say yes. And guess what? A couple of things that he's been offering on there, Kamala Harris has put it in her plan, and you saying yes because it's coming from her and not him. Like the no tax on Social Security, the no tax on tips. They came from Trump first. That was part of his Agenda 47 almost a year ago. She just taking it. She copying and pasting this man plan, and all of a sudden everybody's like, yes, hoorah, this man been talked about that. But because Trump bad, hate Trump, orange man, boogeyman, ooh, you can't seem to come up with your own policies. And you still can't say black people, I was wrong. I told you I ain't gonna do nothing for black people. That's me being arrogant. Just like Trump need to repent to those Central Park 5 boys. Trump need to make it right. Trump need to break them off with some money. And they need to work together for social justice. Trump and them boys. They had every right. I wouldn't have suggested them be biased on this going on stage talking about Trump when it was Democratic judges and Democratic prosecutors that put them in jail. Now, Trump didn't help with that ad. You know, that ad did do some damage. But the fact that the police department put those guys in fear, and those guys need to tell the truth. It wasn't just Trump. It was the Democratic prosecutors and the Democratic judge that and the Democratic mayor, Ed Koch, that put them in that position. Not just Trump. Trump didn't have the ability to put people in jail, even though his money did have influence. And I'm not letting him off for that. He was wrong, and he need to repent for that. And he need to pay them boys some money. And they need to start a new slate. He need to repent to those boys, say, I'm sorry, forgive me. Something you never hear from Trump. They need to be the first people to get it out of him. You know, I don't know why I'm talking about that. That was supposed to be for another show. But D.L. Hughgley is trying to get us to slut vote. He's trying to get us not to ask for nothing in exchange. And he's trying to guilt people and say, hey, if I can. Dude, we're not slut voters like you. And it's time that Black America awakening to the fact that they have power, they have strength, and their vote is a commodity. It's not just something that we just going to give away. None of us said we're not going to vote. Even if we said we're voting for the couch. Voting for the couch is basically saying, I might not vote for the top two of the ticket, but If I see something in there concerning for judges, I see something in there concerning ballot initiatives, I'm supporting that. But if you don't support what we support, why am I voting for you? I'm not playing these games. And no, I'm not voting for the other guy either. He ain't supporting me, you ain't supporting me. What's the difference? What is the difference? The bottom line, he's not supporting the black community. You're not supporting the black community. I don't care if it's ugly or beautiful. The bottom line is you don't support us. Your girl ain't putting no support for us, dude. And you still gonna freely slut give and expect us to do the same thing.
Well, she, everything else. I don't care about none of that. I ain't got time to tarry. What I am trying to do is to make sure.
Oh, that's where you got. I ain't got time to tarry. Well, I don't care about none of that too. I ain't got time to tarry. All I care about is what you got on our 40 homie. If you don't have no strict policies for black people, she can't do nothing for just black people. The hell she can't. The hell she can't. She done. She has done it. She just recently talked about what she's going to do for Israel. Get out of my face with that crap. She can't do nothing for us. The hell she can and the hell she ain't. If she want to win this election, she will do it. And if we have to hold up this election hostage based on her, yes, you hold up the election hostage when it comes to you winning the primary. You don't let nobody participate. You sit up there and get on the news. You allow these pundits to say, "Oh, we're not going to have no primary."
The sitting president of the United States of America is a Democrat that would like to run for re-election, so much so that he has declared a re-election campaign. Right. In that case, the Democratic National Committee will not facilitate a primary process. There will be no debate stage for Bobby Kennedy, Marianne Williamson, or anyone else to stand on.
So we're going to have another Bobby Kennedy in an empty chair in the debate, right?
There will be no debate.
That sounds fair and democratic, doesn't it?
How you can say that? That's thwarting democracy. That's being undemocratic. You, Simone Sanders, get on the news channel and say, no, Joe Biden's not going to have no opposers. He need to have opposers. You're supposed to have somebody opposing you. You're supposed to have opposing views for that office. It shouldn't be no straight slot into the next term. It should always be challengers on every end, but the Democratic Party has managed to mess that up where you can't. They managed to put their finger on it and twist it and rig it where you can't even challenge Joe Biden. Yes, the Democratic Party. You got Democrats that tell people you running for office. Guess what? You're not going to get no money from the DNC. We're not going to help you. You're on your own. That's how they did Nina Turner down there in Cleveland. That's how they did Andrew Gilliam in Florida and a host of other people. Steny Hoyer, we're not supporting you. We're going to do whatever we can to drain your money dry where you can't run no more. And that's what they did to Joe Biden. And that's the reason why Kamala Harris there. And everybody's celebrating like it's nothing. Like the Democratic Party did not do something undemocratic. Like they did not do something that's authoritarianism. And like they didn't do something that's lightweight fascism. But blame it on that side. Oh, fascist, authoritarian. Yeah, they are. You are too. Shame on what you did to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden had no choice. And he had to look happy about it. And deep down his heart, I know it was hard for him, knowing that with Obama and Nancy Pelosi and all them. And Nancy Pelosi proud of it. She admits it. I'm going to go over that interview too. She admits how she was instrumental in Joe stepping down. Like, we going to drain your own money. You ain't going to have no money for your campaign. You're going to lose if you don't step down. Put Kamala in the game. Put Kamala in the game.
That I make good on something. I wronged this woman. I lied on her and hurt her reputation.
See, it's always about her. I wronged this woman. I lied. That's you, dude. That's not me. I got the facts. I did the study. I don't know what kind of Mickey Mouse study you did, but everybody can go out there and get the facts and study. You and I think, and honestly speaking, I think this is a talking point coming from on high, given to people like D.L. Hughgley and given to people like, Roland Martin and Uncle Luke and all that, because they sound the same. I did the wrong research. Dude, what research are you doing? County jail. I mean, I already been through this stuff right there. But no, she was a horrible prosecutor, a horrible DA, and a horrible AG. Pretty okay senator. Didn't step on no toes or nothing like that. And she used that platform to be a mallet going upside the head of Trump. That's in order to run for the presidency until Tulsi Gabbard took her down and made her nothing. And the only way she could save her career, Joe Biden saved her career. Her career was done. They had high hopes for Kamala Harris, and it didn't work out, and they had to find some kind of way to resurrect it. And Joe Biden picking her over Stacey Abrams, should have been Stacey Abrams. All that work Stacey Abrams did for them, it should have been her. For him to toy Stacey Abrams' motion, have her on TV to tell her thank you, but not give her the nod, was cold-hearted.
I want to begin this with a question to Joe Biden, because Stacey Abrams is here because Joe Biden invited Stacey Abrams to be here. And so, Mr. Vice President, do you have an announcement to make? Is this an audition? Is there, what is the reason that you decided it's time for me to get on TV with Stacey Abrams?
Well, because Stacey Abrams has done more to deal with the fair vote.
Couldn't even make it out of the first 3 rounds of the debates. And now everybody's thinking that she's the one. She's not. She can be. We can throw 100% black support in her, because you're not going to get 100%. You're not going to get 100% anyway, because some black people just like Trump and Trump policies. That's just the way it is. You don't find too many. There's a lot of us neutral. Don't like neither one of y'all, but we willing to deal with whoever's willing to deal with us. We look at our position as power brokers, that if you want this vote, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to start giving some concession. Here's what we need. Here's what we want. This is our desire. If you don't fulfill it, you're not going to get our vote. He's going to beat you. Choice is yours. I'm not going to be a slut voter. My vote is too valuable. My people are depending on me, forcing you to give us what we want. And it seems like that's what we're doing. And with Negro peons like this, just slut voting like this is what's hindering the black community. Freely giving you the power.
And if you're telling me where was she at for 4 years, you idiot. She's the Vice President of the United States of America. And the Vice Presidency is a ceremonial position.
You idiot. It is not a ceremonial position. The Vice President is the second in charge, which means the Vice President does have power. The Vice President does not kiss the behind of the President. The Vice President can have their own initiative going on, and they can get it approved by the President, but they can still move on with their initiative because they're the Vice President. They can start many programs on their own. But more important, the Vice President is the deciding vote. If there's a tie on a lot of issues, he or she is the deciding vote. They are what you call the President of the Senate. And in other words, anything come down to the wire, they can make the sway on it. And she's done it. That tax issue, Joe Biden wanted to start taxing tips and wanted to get the IRS involved with that. And the deciding vote to get it done was Kamala Harris. It became law because of Kamala Harris. And now she's saying she don't want to tax tips. She don't want to tax Social Security. Well, she's saying that because Trump said it. So D.L. Hughgley, once again, this ain't about nothing but us. The reason we here in the grassroots, the streets, the soil, we're not slut voting. We're making demands. And if your girl want to win, you better tell her she need to meet our demands. And you need to be asking for demands yourself.
It's a ceremonial position. And your job as Vice President is to do what the President says. You think that ain't true? Get it.
Let me let him speak.
Most of that your job is start talking bad about your boss.
That is not true. The Vice President of any corporation has a specific job to do. No, he's not president. He can't sign things into law. He can't make it official with a signature. He can't make declarations on behalf of the country, but that don't mean she ain't gonna do no job, that she don't work, that she don't have her own program, you can't listen to D.L. Hughgley. This is why Malcolm X said you can't be listening to these stars. They're not political leaders. They poise themselves to be leaders, and they stand in a position to try to advise you when they can't. Dude, you got a GED. Heck, a person with a college degree is not in a position to advise you on how you should vote. That's between you, your conviction, and your God. It's your vote. You have to come to that conclusion. You don't let somebody tell you what to do. You come to the conclusion on what you do between your faith, your God, and what you've seen concerning that person. That's all you, baby. Nobody else.
See how that works out. You advise anything, and you think you would tell the president what to do? It was a ceremonial position she did.
Who said what she does is going to have to... Nobody says that. Who said that we need her to tell the president what to do? She can advise the president. That's what Joe Biden did. He advised Barack Obama because of the many years he's been in the game. And Barack would say, look, when I need some advice, so, I go to my VP. My VP, Joe. I need confidence in the area, and I'm a little lost. Need a little more guidance. I go to my VP. My VP, Joe Biden. So don't you dare think the vice president don't have a powerful position. They're second in charge. Something happened to the president, they got to be ready to go, which means they better be practicing. Their whole point of being in the VP position is to stand in the position of president without being president, to be an assistant to that person, but yet at the same time develop their own things with the president's endorsement. It is not a ceremonial position. This is why even me, I can't listen to D.L. Hughgley, because he don't know what he's talking about, man.
What she was supposed to. Being mad at a vice president would be like being mad at the backup quarterback because the quarterback threw an interception. And you know that to be true. You are saying all...
Why wouldn't you be mad at the backup quarterback? It just don't make sense, man. Oh, God, D.L. You shilling too hard. You shilling so hard, you're not making sense, dude. You're fighting for this lady so hard that Doug's going to get jealous after a while. You fighting for that's my woman, man. Don't be fighting for my woman like that. You don't make sense. Being mad at the backup quarterback because the quarterback did the interception. Now I get what he was saying. It's not the same, dude. Even then, it's not the same. The backup quarterback and the quarterback is not on the field at the same time. The president and the vice president is on the field at the same time. The vice president has the ability to do positions. They have a staff. If their job was just to sit there and look pretty, they wouldn't need a staff. They wouldn't need their own. It wouldn't be its own department with missions, with goals. Don't be fooled. The vice president is his own department, has his own mission, has his own goal, has his own agenda, and would look for support from the president. But whatever Joe Biden do, they do it together, right? That's why you call it the Biden-Harris administration. Whatever Biden do, it's going to rub off on Kamala. Whatever Kamala do is going to rub off on Biden. So even though this ain't football and you can't blame the backup quarterback for the quarterback mess, the whole team still is going to take blame if that freaking quarterback keep throwing interceptions. The whole team is going to lose. It's not one person's fault. It's the team fault. So this is a team. This is the team. The Biden-Harris administration was a team. And whenever Biden messed up, it messed up the whole team. So it directly reflects on her. Even in your logic there, DL, it doesn't make sense.
And you know that to be true.
No, I don't.
You are saying all these things because whatever you have on your mind, whatever your mindset is, it is not the same as mine. I don't begrudge.
Nobody wants to have the same mindset as you. Where's your mind? Why do you think your mind is the golden mind that everybody else should have, dude? I repeat to you, you're honorary Q dog. Which means you didn't graduate to get it. You didn't go to college to get it. They gave it to you based on your prestigiousness. You are a high school dropout. You got a GED. Congratulations. And that's no stop. You've done amazing things, brother, with your life. But we're not the same. Your mindset ain't ours. And we don't supposed to have your mindset. And judging from this interview, your mindset ain't right. My mindset ain't right. That's why this thing has to be personal decision. When it comes to voting, you can't listen to other people. It's just you, God, and your inner gut. But yet you're going to use some discernment. You're going to use some judgment. You're going to check out the person past, present, and you're going to find out what they're going to do for the future. And you definitely got to find out what they got on their agenda concerning your community, because your main vote is on behalf of your community. And if they ain't got nothing for your community, your main vote shouldn't be nothing for them. I'm almost done with DL.
That's you for how you feel. But I ain't got time to play with you.
And
My goal is to make right.
We ain't got time to play with you. See, these Negroes, these uppity boule, he's not even boule. He has a honorary Q dog, and he think just because he's a Q dog. What is it with these people who went to college and got in these sororities that think they have a leadership position over black people? You ain't got jack. You have nothing. We don't care about your ski-wees, and we don't care nothing about your roofs. We don't care nothing about all that sorority bullcrap. Most of black America don't subscribe to that. Even the people going to college right now don't subscribe to these sororities. Most of them take their college courses online. And the nerves of you, and the hell with you, to think just because you have a position of power, as Steve Harvey said, we run the airways, just because you run, like we are underlings of you, for you to say I ain't got time for you. Negro, we ain't asked you for your time. The only reason I'm taking time to go to your interview is because it's illogical. You don't make no sense. You're caping hard for a person running for office, and you're not even caping hard for your community. But maybe you think, well, I am. The reason I'm caping hard for my community, I got to give my community a champion. That's not, no, your community is the champion. Your community is the champion. And you choosing her. You're saying you with her over your community. And you thinking your community need to be with her. No, her need to be with your community. And her is not with your community, then you need to get rid of her. Because you got rid of him because you figure he's not with your community. And rightfully so. What about her? When she sat there and say, I'm not just going to do anything for black people. No, we got it documented, and she's been doing everything for everybody but
something I did wrong. It is to make sure I keep my word.
That's you.
And I am going to do all I can to make sure that she becomes a black woman, Asian woman, AIP. I know that she's...
How about, if you're going to do all you can to make sure she get elected, how about you go advocate for us and understand our demands and take it to her and just say, Madam Vice President, I know I stepped too fast. And I know you just gave me a spot at the DNC convention. I know I've been kissing your butt lately, but I'm told on the streets that there's enough black people that say they ain't gonna support you if you don't support them. You can win in a landslide, but you got to give them something, and you got to give it to us before Election Day. You need to meet with Joe. Come off the campaign trail. Meet with Joe. Come up with a hate crime bill for black people, for starters. That's the only way you're going to get them to look into you right now, because they're not looking into you. They want something on their 40, and you need to give them. Just consider me a liaison, Madam Vice President, between you and the black community. I should have been that all along. I know I was strictly anti-you. At least I made it seem like it. And now I realize I was wrong. I'm for you. But I need to be in the middle, like they are. We can care less about all this stuff. What college you went to, what sorority you went to. We don't care about nothing about that. We just want you to be you. We want you to stop cosplaying, be the Indian woman in the Senate, in the vice president position. Be the Indian woman in that position. And if you want to be elected, you got to understand your biggest voting block is not the Indian people. It's black people. And if you want to become president, which you can, here's what we need. Don't think because you got a White House event where some black students and black people come to, that's the same as talking to the black grassroots. It's not. Don't think just because you may have gone to the Essence Festival or some kind of black journalists meeting, that's talking to the black grassroots movement, the streets. No, the streets is watching, and we see you, and we see how you're rolling. And it's kind of foul. And even though we don't mess with that guy on the right-hand side, he is trying to talk to us about what he's going to do for us. And even though last year he actually had policies for black people, whether it came to pass or not, I don't know how far he went into it, I don't know. But at least he came up with something strictly for black people. And a lot of us trust him. It wasn't me, but a lot of us did. It's your turn now. If you want the black vote, you better come up with something before you get elected, or you won't get elected.
Going to be, I tell you what, she's black enough to be called a DEI hire by inferior white men.
DEI hire is not a black term. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a term for everybody. Latinos, Indians, Chinese, anybody but not white. Oh, yes, it does. It does. It includes white women. It includes LGBTQ white men. All of that is considered DEI, not just black DL.
She's black enough for them to challenge her intellect.
Challenging somebody's intellect is not a colored thing. We challenge your intellect based on what you say and what you do. That's it. Now tell me one person on the left, right, or in the middle that's challenging her intellect based on her color. No, it doesn't work like that. You can't even put that on Trump when Trump talked highly of Oprah to the point that he wanted Oprah to be his VP if he ran independent, and that he still have high love and regard for Oprah and a lot of other black people. He claims he still loved Jesse Jackson. He still loved Al Sharpton. Him and Mike Tyson, best of friends. He loved Mike Tyson, love him. Him and Michael Jackson, it hurt him, and he cried when Michael Jackson died because that was his friend. It hurts him when his friends could see him as this evil being. Now I say to you, Trump, what you gonna do to fix it? Because if they spin the narrative and determine what you are, you got to spin it around so they can see who you really are. And if you're really not that guy, you need to start showing them because they're good at their propaganda game. But let's keep going.
She's black enough for them to call her promiscuous and say she slept her way to the top.
That ain't got nothing to do with black. Where do you get that to do with the black? White women do that too. Not that she asked for it. She may not ask for it, but the stuff must have been so good that Willie decided to give it to her. She got the bomb diggity. And she was a bad girl back then. I mean, she was a fine something back then. And if I was Willie and I had that power, I probably would have gave her a couple of job positions too. It is what it is. I don't know if she did it on purpose or he just gave it to her. Either way, she got it. What that got to do with blackness? And why are you trying to tag that on the black?
So if you think that those things matter to you, we are not the same. I'm not going to be what it is you are. And I'm not going to have time to argue with you back and forth on the internet.
Why are you arguing with me? Why are we arguing with you? You one person. Do you. You don't want to argue with us because we don't think like you. Yes, you're right. We're not the same. I don't want to be you. You sound like a sold out shield. You sound like somebody that ain't paid off. You sound like it is your job by design from the DNC to try to be like Roland Martin or whatever, try to whip people back in line. You sound like they're paying you to be a general and a soldier, or what you call one of those guys that's in the trying to keep you Hogan heroes. Try to make sure you stay in that prison, don't you get out of that prison. You sound like one of these generals that's trying to keep the prisons at bay. We're not the same, D.L. Huhgley. I agree with you. We're not the same. We're not going to be the same. We don't think the same. My philosophy in particular in voting is more of high intellect and power position. You might call it Trumpism. You can call me a Trumper. No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. I realize, a lot of people realize, and even Malcolm X taught the black community that your vote is commodity. It's either the bullet or the ballot. Your vote is a commodity. You got to put yourself in a position where these people can't count on you for anything. You can't give these people no allegiance. Your allegiance must be to your black community, and that cannot be tied to a political party. Can't be tied to the conservative, can't be tied to the liberal. It only can be tied to the community. And there's a code in the community where the code is the leader, not a man. And the code has to be pushed by a black agenda. The black agenda fuels the code. And yes, we must make demands in order to bring empowerment back to the black people. We will never get black empowerment by not making demands when it comes to our most valuable commodity to the federal government, and that is our vote. Our vote is power. We can't keep slut voting. This mindset of just giving support blindly or giving support on purpose, not knowing that she ain't got nothing for the black community, knowing that she said she ain't gonna do nothing for the black community, and you've seen what she's done for other communities, and for you to give her the support blindly, that hurts the black community. You have to put them in a position where you have to make them bend the knee. You have to say you want the vote. It's 40 million black people saying, you want our vote, come get it. You want our vote, let's do a deal. You want our vote, let's have an exchange. This is what I want. You want this, I want that. You have the ability to give me that. Give me that and give me that now. If you can give me half of that now, we'll work together to get the rest of the half after me, and the 40 million like me get you in the office. But you got to give us something now. So you're right, D.L. Huhgley. We're not the same.
Because unlike you, I believe I am my sister's keeper. That's a little note from a GED section. Got the report, judge report coming up in 15 minutes.
That's not even the Bible. I am my sister's keeper. Who is your sister, D.L.? Is your sister the one who said, I'm not going to do nothing for you? Is your sister the one who on purpose utilized the white supremacist system to fuel it for free labor or slave labor, the new Jim Crow, the plantation, the new plantation, the penitentiary, the private prison system, not only fueled it, but came up with methods of continuing to fuel it. That's my sister's keeper. It's not about sister's keeper. If you were your sister's keepers, you will be your brother's keeper too. And your true sisters and your true brothers are the black grassroots movement. That comes above any person in positions of power first. You don't put them over the BGR, the black grassroots. You don't sit here and say blindly, I'm for him or I'm for her, if those two are not saying I'm for you. Now, Kamala Harris got a motto said Kamala Harris for the people. That was a slogan she did because she was a prosecutor. Don't you dare think that slogan means she's going to fight for the people. That slogan was a prosecutor slogan. It was saying that I'm doing this in defense of the people of San Francisco, of Oakland, when in actuality, it wasn't the people. She was doing more harm to the people than help. You make sure that Kamala Harris have the black community as top priority. You make sure she's knowing about what our demands are. You in that position of power, you have access to her, you personally talk to her, you need to be telling her the black grassroots movement ain't gonna listen to what I tell them. They're solid, they're serious, they have needs. And Ms. Harris, if you want to win, I suggest you meet these needs. And I suggest that you don't give Trump a chance to meet those needs, because that's going to make us look bad. And it's going to be hard for us to hate Trump knowing that he actually did something for the black community. Why would I think he won't? If he want to get our votes, I believe he'll do anything to get it. And let me tell you something this, and I'm going to close. With over 50 million black people, with majority of them FBAs, and here we come up to a crucial decision. We got the Koch group, MAGA. We got Democrats, but yet there's a Koch group in the Democratic Party that's diehard Democrats. I call them Blue MAGA. Blue MAGA are the sect of people that believes in blue no matter who, no matter what they did, don't matter, they blue. No, whether they're red, yellow, white, or black, it don't matter, they blue. Whether they're 8 foot tall, 2 feet tall, they blue. Criminal background, no criminal background, they blue. Did something bad to the people, didn't do nothing bad to the people, they're blue. That's what you call blue MAGA. If nobody's not with us, they're against us. It's not even that. If nobody's with us, they're with Trump. If nobody's with blue MAGA, they're with Trump. See, that's blue MAGA thinking. That's that Koch group thinking. Same thing with red MAGA. You don't support Trump, you ain't no patriot, boy. You better look, Trump. If Trump want black support, Trump better go back to the old Trump. You better start this demagoguery and go back to this old Trump where he was looking to befriend black people. He had a whole bunch of black friends. You better go back to that Trump. Problem was, most of those friends were elite, rich people, but he wasn't befriending too many of the average people. If Trump want to get some black support, he better be genuinely repentant toward his heart on certain things he said toward the black community. If he said it, he better repent to the Central Park 5 boys. He need to start all over with the black community, and he need to say, hey, if I believe you should get reparation. He made a speech where he said, hey, black people built this country. He did a speech saying that. I'll show you that to you in the future. Black people, you built this country. This is your country. You built this. I mean, you're just starting to get credit for that, but I'm going to acknowledge you built this country. If you know that, Donald Trump, then you need to give them reparations. So you need to come up with a reparation package and let us tell you what it is and tell you how to implement it. We need a hate crime bill. We need you, the most polarizing so-called racist person on the planet, to say, no, I'm going to stop police. I'm going to do a hate crime bill. I may not do a police immunity, but I'm going to do a hate crime bill. And no, I'm not going to get police immunity if they did wrong, which he said. And after he talked about immunity, he said, look, I only want to give immunity to those who end up doing something foolish by mistake. But a situation where it was intentional, that we see it's intentional, I'm not giving them no leeway. I'm not protecting them. They got to do time if they did the crime. When it comes to BGR, it's business. Whoever can produce a bill or plan or platform or policy plank saying not only are we going to give you a hate crime bill, not only are we going to give you reparations, but we're going to manifest your entire black agenda. and we're going to do it in the first 2 years. If you could say that, I wouldn't doubt you wouldn't win this election in a landslide. The problem is, who's going to say that? Kamala Harris have to believe, and any other Democrat have to believe, that don't expect to get the black vote. Always assume that you got to earn it. Always earn it. Always believe that if I don't earn it, I'm not going to get it. Always believe that I got to listen to the needs of the black grad, not some event. I got to go down to the black community and spend time with the black people on the streets, because the streets is watching and they don't like what I see. They don't like what they see. I need to hear from them, and whatever their needs are, I'm going to give it to them. That's what Trump told Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey went to Trump Towers about 4 years ago and asked Trump to help him out with his youth program, and Trump did. But we're going to go over that because we got these, simps for Kamala Harris, but you got some of them that was simps for Trump at one time, and we're going to have to talk about them. Anyway, I'm done. I was going to go into the speech that he did with the Democratic National Convention, but it was basically the same thing. I was wrong. I did my research. I was wrong, so I apologize. But that is not no signal that you're going to portray toward us that we was wrong in our research, and we need to apologize and we need to support. We're not wrong, and we're not sorry. And we're not going to support her until she made a commitment to support us. It's a different deal now. No more blind support. No more, I'm black, I got to support. No more of that. That is our weakness. That is our downfall. And that was predicted almost 50 years ago. Over 50 years ago with Malcolm X. You don't never give commitment to any liberal or no conservative. You never tie your community to no political party. If anything, if you're in a political party, you must find a way to detach, reset, and attack. In other words, I'm leaving your party. I'm going to realize what you guys did that caused us not to get to where we need to be by now. And then I'm going to recess and tell you, if you want this vote, you need to get us there. This is a new day going forward. If you can't get me there, I'm not going to get you to the White House. If you can't get me to this goal, I'm not going to get you to state senate, to governor, none of that. You got to start making demands. You got to start making the demands, and you got to push them to manifest those demands. And you have to let them know you won't get this for free. It's going to cost you. And saying all that, I'm Robert Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. I'll holler at you later. Peace. Good morning and good night.